And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, elves and zebras, gypsies and fairies. Hey, I'm going to make a nice video, a good video. No, I can't say it's going to be a good video, but it's a positive video. This, first of all, before I get to all that, to my daughter, I hope you see this. I am very happy for you, and I'm very proud of you. You're doing great. We are going to try and send you something next month or the month after as a little, wedding present. It's not going to be much. Sorry, but we're going to, do something for you. So what this video is actually about, the men in my life, and the positive men in my life. And to be honest with you, I've probably forgotten some people. It's sad, but when you get to my age, you do start to forget things. And not just that, but there are, how do you say, sometimes I just wish I still spoke Spanish and I wouldn't have to wrestle with the English language. But I don't speak Spanish anymore. Anyway, so let me just, it's like when you're young, you have a limited view of life, you have a limited circle of family and friends. As you get older, there are so many more people you've had in your life, and sadly, you do forget some of those people. So there's no disrespect toward anyone I have forgotten or that I don't mention, and I'm going to keep the list of people to a minimum. My dad, who would be 89 years old this year. Dad, I made it. I'm a year older than you now. Although your birthday is a month after mine, so it's coming up. Don't know. Actually, I think I missed my mom's birthday because hers was a week after mine. So, but this is about the men, not the women. So my dad, my uncle, my only uncle by blood. I only have one uncle by blood that I'm aware of, anyway. I think I would know if I had others. And talking about men in my life and family, and people by blood, family. One of my cousins is living in his mom's house. And as I was looking at pictures, I said, "That's my auntie's house." Yeah. He and his wife are sitting there watching people walk down the what do you call that? As I've walked down it, and my dad and his friends used to, octopus would come up there and they'd poke them with sticks. But anyway, so my dad, my uncle, I want to include other people on my dad's side, but they haven't played that role in my life. So my dad, my uncle, I'm not going to mention my uncle's name, but we're related on my mom's side. So anyway, and believe it or not, I'm going to mention a couple of people from when I was in Devereaux. Believe it or not, Mr. Thibodeau, he was my PE teacher, and Mr. Doig, who was my welding teacher. Mr. Doig wasn't I really shouldn't be including him but what he did was he taught me a trade. He taught me a skill. I took welding for 2 years. I enjoyed it. Could I do it now? Probably not, especially not with a heart condition. Well, actually, you know what? Welding up here in the wintertime I could probably do. But think about it. I was in Texas, the coastal bend, where it gets 110 degrees, 100% humidity. I'm wearing leathers in a metal building with no air conditioning, and I'm working with hot stuff. You know, either I started with oxyacetylene with gas welding, but I like picked up on it really fast. So Mr. Doig transferred me to arc welding. I did flat plate just fine. He started me on vertical, but I wasn't good at it. But anyway, Mr. Thibodeau, some things I learned from him, and it wasn't that he told me these things, it was from observing him. When you're in a situation where you're dealing with a-holes 99.999% of the time, you know, he would be in the dorms sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes he was in the dorms, especially I think in summertime. He didn't play into the games of the other staff. You know, he would let things go. The racism, he had his own ways of dealing with it. He was a white boy, but he married a Hispanic lady, and the other staff, who were mostly black, would call him a bigot and a racist. Why? You know, that's just the way they were. They were idiots. But you know, he didn't play into that. He was able to let things go. Yeah, he worked hard. He didn't let things get to him. It never seemed like it. I remember we were out in the pavilion playing basketball, and somebody, may have been Mr. Thibodeau, had I don't know what you want to call it, boombox, ghetto blaster, I think we called them back then. And I don't know what radio station was on or anything like that, and somebody asked him, what's your favorite song? He said, I don't have a favorite song. I choose a favorite song each week. Each week it changes. I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea. Why have one favorite song? Why listen to one song over and over again and then get tired of it? And I was like, that's a smart idea. Think about things. Mr. Thibodeau taught me that. So, Mr. Thibodeau, my dad, my uncle, Mr. Doig, there was another person. Oh my gosh, 5 bags of heroin, 8 bags of crack cocaine. It's on the TV in there. Anyway, there was a teacher in Austin who taught me to read, and I'm thankful for that. I would have been 8 or 9 years old at the time. Probably 8. I think I was 8. I was 8 years old. Do you need to go back out, big boy? Okay. Um,
Police say 26-year-old Kevin Cosgrove and 24-year-old Brittany Weston.
there's somebody else I never knew. I think he may have died before I was even born. He was, I believe, the brother of Emperor Hirohito. Years ago, back in the 90s, I was reading about him. I'm like, wow. Because I lived on Okinawa for 5 years, and that was my first experience with prejudice. Although, you know, I go back and look at the pictures from that time, I'm like, they're Okinawan kids, they're Japanese kids, they're American kids. American kids are white, black, Hispanic, Asian. And nobody cared. We didn't care. So what? Your nationality, your ethnicity, your race, your whatever, your this or that, we didn't care, and it doesn't matter. So anyway, Emperor Hirohito's brother, I think it was his brother, became a how do you say, a oceanographer, something like that. He was a scientist that dealt with the sea and the ocean. And this was a man who could have done anything. And a lot of people in his position basically become crummy, crappy people. But he didn't do that. He didn't let his position, he was way up there, so to speak. He didn't let that ruin or damage his life. He became a good, decent, hard-working human being. So even though I never knew him and I can't remember his name, I have great respect for him. Lucky needs to go out, so I'm going to take him out and I'm going to end this video. Are there other men who have been positive in my life? Yes. Actually, I can pause this. Okay, I'm back. Took Lucky out. My brother-in-law. I don't really know my brother-in-law, but I've met him, talked to him on the phone, talked to him online. Well, not really online, but talked to him on the phone and met him. And he's a good guy, a hard worker, honest guy. Oh goodness, who else? I know I'm leaving people. What? Yes? No? No, I don't. Sorry people, we're talking about internet, and our internet's been, for the last few days, been going on and off, on and off. It's annoying. But, anyway, so I guess for now, you know, those are the people that I would mention.